Hey everyone, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to work on the word problems level, which is level 4, and it takes a little bit of patience and just reading really carefully. So the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and look at the level and read the directions really carefully. So if I read right here, it says for problems 1 through 3, which is 1, 2, and 3, write your answer as an improper fraction. So what that means is on number 1, number 2, and number 3, your answer is going to be written in the form where your numerator or your top number, so N for numerator and D for denominator, your numerator is going to be larger than your denominator. 10/3 is an improper fraction. This is a good example of something that you might see on number 1, 2, or 3 as an improper fraction. Now, if I go back and look at the directions here, it says for problems 4, 5, and 6, write your answer in a mixed number. So you might solve it as like an improper fraction like you did for 1, 2, and 3, but then you need to convert it into a mixed number. So 4, 5, and 6, your answer is going to be a mixed number, which might look like 2 and 1/3. I don't know. That's not a real answer, but this is a mixed number. You have a whole number, which is 2, and then you have a fraction piece, which is 1/3, and in that fraction piece, your numerator is smaller than the denominator. It's not an improper fraction. It has to be correct like this for it to be a mixed number. That is what your answers are going to look like for questions 4, 5, and 6. Let's talk about how to do it. All right, I have 2 examples that we're going to go through today, starting with this first one. So the first one, we're going to give an answer as an improper fraction, as if it was 1, 2, or 3. The second one, we're going to do a mixed number, as if it was 4, 5, or 6. So let's get started. I'm going to read it. Miss Davis runs 5/8 mile every day. How far will she run in 6 days? So I'm going to go to my whiteboard. I know that Miss Davis is going to run, 5, we're not writing, 5/8 mile every single day. So in one day, it's going to be 5/8 mile. In 2 days, it's going to be 2 sets of 5/8 mile. I could add them all together, but it's easier if I multiply it by how many days that Miss Davis ran. So I'm going to go back to my word problem and double check. So she ran the 5/8 mile, and she did that 6 times. She ran for 6 days. So I'm going to multiply my fraction by a whole number of 6. Now, what I can do is I can just work with my whole number and multiply it by my numerator, which would look something like this. Or what I can do is rewrite it to look like this, which would be 5/8 times, I'm going to write 6, and I'm going to put the denominator as 1, because we know that a whole number over a denominator of 1, this and this are the same thing. So now I can get an answer. So if I want to do it this way, I'm going to do 5 times 6, which is 30, and I'm going to leave my denominator the same, just like we've done the whole year, which is going to be 8. If I want to do it this way, all I have to do is just multiply straight across, which is really easy. 5 times 6 is 30, and 8 times 1 is 8. And you can see in both methods, I got the same answer. So it just depends which way you prefer, but that would be my answer. These both are in an improper fraction. So this is an example for maybe questions 1, 2, or 3. Let's jump into our next example that would be good for questions 4, 5, or 6, which will be a mixed number. So let's go back and read the question down here. I spend 3/4 hour every week buying groceries. How long do I spend in the grocery store in 9 weeks? So, going back to my whiteboard, I know 3/4 hour, and I know that I'm going to have 9 weeks. I could sit here and do 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4 and go 9 times. But that's going to take way too long. So that's why we're going to multiply it to save us a lot of frustration. So we're going to multiply 9 times because I spent 9 weeks buying groceries because I have to go every week. So I have two options. I can do 3/4 times 9, or I can do 3/4 times 9, but I'm going to put it over the denominator of 1 because this and this are the exact same thing. They just look different. So now I can proceed. If I'm going to use this method, I'm going to do 3 times 9, which is 27, and my denominator stays the same. It's going to be 4. Or I can multiply straight across, and I can do 3 times 9, which is still 27, and 4 times 1, which is still 4. Either way, I have my answer, but I'm not done. If I'm on question 4, 5, or 6, the directions clearly say that I need to give my answer. Let me scroll to the directions. I need to give my answer in a mixed number. So it's okay if I solve it, and so far I have an improper fraction, but that doesn't mean I'm done. I need to go one step further. So I'm going to erase one side just so I have some extra room to work, and we're going to use my answer down here, which was 27/4, and we're going to change it into a mixed number. So I'm going to use this answer, and we're going to get a mixed number. In order to do that, I'm going to start at my denominator, which is 4. And I'm going to skip count by 4s until I get as close to 27 as I can get, but I'm not going to go over. So I'm going to have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, and I can't go any higher. So if you were counting on your fingers with me, the multiplication fact I'm trying to figure out right now is 4 times what got me to 24, and the answer is 6. So 6 is what I'm going to use as my new whole number. And then I need to figure out my remainder. So I got to 24 right here. I'm going to use a different color. I got to 24 by multiplying 6 times, which is written right here. I got to 24, but how many ones are in between 24 and 27, which is going to be my remainder? If you remember, oftentimes we wrote it like this. It was 27 divided by 4. And we have 6. Now we're figuring out the remainder. So counting on my fingers, 24, 25, 26, 27. If you were counting with me, that remainder was 3. And I'm writing it in both places. Now that's become the numerator of my fraction piece in the mixed number. And the denominator is going to stay the same. So it's going to come from right here and come up to here and become 4. So now my answer is 6 3/4. 6 3/4 is the same thing as 27/4, but written differently. We need to convert it to look like a mixed number in order for it to be correct. So just to review, if I'm looking over here at my division problem, 6 became my whole number. My remainder, which was 3, became my numerator. My denominator stayed the same from the improper fraction that I was originally working with. I got 6 remainder 3 from doing my division problem. Skip counting by 4, getting as close to 27 without going over. 6 times 4 is 24. If I went any higher, it would have been 28, which would have gone over. So I stayed at 24, which was 6 times. And then if I add 3 more, that's 27. Okay, guys, good luck. Work slow. Use some scratch paper and just do math. Do the math carefully so that if you make a mistake, you can go back and find it. A lot of your mistakes are going to be probably just right here and just some simple math that you probably know how to do, but you might just be forgetting or working too quickly. And so you're just making simple mistakes. All right. I'm wishing you luck and cheering you on for my